Well, good morning, everybody. This is Phil Gibson with the Unity Group at Keller Williams. I'm here with Sabina, Bina Photography. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good. Well, tell us a little bit about the studio and all the stuff you're doing here.
Sabina Photography is a studio dedicated just for pets, for fur babies.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to dedicated my work just for the animals after adopting my first dog as an adult.
Okay.
I realized that I don't have images from my pets that I was growing up. So I just was like, let me start photograph Miss Vernie, and Miss Vernie became my partner in photography crime, and
Okay.
everything led to focusing on pets. I used to do wedding photography for years, and then we moved to Colorado. My husband is originally from here,
Okay.
and I was like, let me just focus on pets, and started doing small store sessions. And eventually I opened the studio, and I've been here for a little bit over a year and a half.
Okay. But it sounds like though you've been doing pet photography for
4
longer
years
than
now.
that. 4 years.
4
Yeah.
years now, yes.
Yeah. And and we noticed like we've got a picture of dogs, but you do all animals.
Yes, definitely. I don't discriminate in Bina photography. That's a very important part. I do cats, lizard. I've done ferrets, pigs. I'm not afraid of an animal in my studio. The only thing I really ask my clients, if they want to bring an animal that I'm not 100% familiar with, to teach me about the safety of the animal, and teach me about what I need to know to make sure the session will go smooth and very, I want to make sure it's not stressing the animal to the point that they're in danger.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I know you mentioned about the lizard photo you took. You increased the heat.
Yes. So with the lizards, they have to be in a very warm environment. So we were running, heaters here. There was probably 81 degrees in the studio. We were all, sweating. But in the end of the day, we got beautiful portraits and something that the family will cherish forever. And the animal was safe.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So tell us a little bit about the different, I know the traditional photo, but I know in talking with you, you've got some other kind of unique things that you do with the photos, as far as like the metal etching and some of that other stuff.
Yeah, so the products that I use the most, I don't know if anyone can see, but this is actually printed on actual aluminum.
Aluminum, okay. Yeah.
Which is comparing to the portraits that are done on that paper, they have to go underneath the glass. The glass create a lot of reflection. Right now, you only see a full reflection of the light. You don't see the spots on the metal. That's why I love working with metals. They really represent my work well. And on top of it, I do have framing. So I make sure that my clients, we design the final product to match their expectations. I can frame it for them and make sure that it is final product delivered to them, that they don't have to worry about what am I going to do when I have the digital images, what to do with them. I make sure that they don't need to worry about it, and make sure that they have the piece for their wall.
Yeah. So is the longevity of this type of product, is it longer than, say, the paper version, or what's the care, I guess, that you have to think about?
So the metals are really, really easy to take care of. You take a damp cloth and just wipe it,
Okay.
and it's taken care of. Obviously, any kind of a print, if you put it in a day sunlight, it will get damaged. But in a regular environment, when they're inside, the sun is not hitting on them, some of them are 100 years guarantee for the print quality.
Okay.
With the paper, you have to think of that it has to be definitely properly framed, because any moisture will affect the print. So it's you don't have to deal with the moisture sensitivity. I know in Colorado we are very dry climate, but still we have those out of the blue 3-4 very rainy days that everything become really fast dump. So that's the advantage.
Okay.
I think the biggest for me is the fact that I don't have to worry about the glare no reflection. You don't have to look, you don't have to have a special light on top of your portrait to see the beauty of it.
Yeah. So how long does it normally take? I know it's probably very variable depending on the pet, but what's a sitting normally? How long does a sitting normally last?
So the two different ways to answer your question, I would say, because the whole entire process with me, it is a process. So it takes a consultation in the studio. I make sure that the dogs come here, or cats, or whichever animal comes, and they feel comfortable, familiar with the surroundings, the smells. That allows us, me as well, to get to know the animal, the energy, introduce them to the lights. Sometimes lights are very they are a little bit scary for them. It's the popping sound may remind them of thunderstorms. So that's a first step. Then we design the session. Sometimes my clients have a vision, so I want to make sure we include that in the session.
Yeah.
And then they come to the actual session. And the time for the actual session, it really depends of the animal.
Okay.
I have like dogs that were here for 45 minutes, and I was like, okay, I really don't know what else. We have probably about 70 images that I have to narrow it down later on to make sure to show them the best of the best. And I had animals that were severely abused previously, and the session was 3.5 hours.
Okay.
It was, I was giving the animal a chance to decompress after every set we were doing. The main thing for me is patience. No one is allowed to really force their animal to do things in the studio. It has to be the animal willingness to be in the front of the camera. And if they walk away, we wait and we bring it back. Walk away. So it's really about, I call it a patience game.
Yeah, okay.
And then they come back after that to see the images.
Okay.
I project them on a screen, and then they can see all of them. I have all the softwares to show them different sizes, the framing, how that really gonna look as a final image.
Product.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, do you always shoot animals here in the studio, or have you ever gone out like into the community and done that?
I do outdoor sessions.
Okay.
It's probably a small amount right now for me.
Okay.
I bring kind of my studio with me outdoor, and I do have clients that really enjoy it. I've been focusing lately on sunset
Sure.
shoots. So those are really something that I really want to do, like focus more detail just to do the sunset shots. They're really beautiful. The colors are always so majestic.
Yeah, I bet. That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds really good. So if somebody wanted to bring their pet, what's the first step to reach out to you? Just call you, go to your website?
Phone, I love to talk to people because I would like to learn more. I think via text or email is harder to get that connection, and I really want to learn about their needs.
Okay.
So I think phone call is always the best for me.
Okay.
But anyway, if they just want to go on my website and fill up the client form, I'll be happy to reach out. If they want to shoot me a text, absolutely I will reach out too. But definitely they need to expect a phone call sooner or later from me.
Okay. And then so that's the initial step to reaching out, and from there, then the consultation and actually
the session,
going through the process,
and then the selection appointment.
Okay.
I would say the whole entire process, it is a time consuming. It's I would say from the initial call, probably about 2.5 months before everything is finished, because now the consultation, then a couple of weeks, then in a couple of weeks again for the
Sure.
So it takes to create the fine art portrait. It's not just come quickly, we'll do what we can and then you leave. I really make sure that we take the time to get the most out of the pet, to create the most beautiful portrait we can ask for.
Right. Well, that makes sense. So if you're in a hurry, this is probably not the best avenue to take.
Yeah.
Because it's just a process of getting through everything.
Yes. So with sometimes we are in we are losing pets. We are aware of that, and I do have clients that's like, hey, I would love to have the beautiful portrait before we lose our family member.
Yeah.
So I do emergency session, obviously.
Okay.
It's a little bit different process. I take more time for the consultation, and we kind of make sure we introduce the dog the day off and just go with the process. It's probably we expect a longer session, but I would do exceptions for emergencies for sure, where I can come to someone's home. That's an option too. If they want to have like in a safe, comfortable environment for the pet environment, I definitely would come and do the
something
session
at the home.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, because sometimes those things come into play.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're with us a little bit shorter than we wish, and I think that was the big push for me why I really wanted to do it, to make sure everybody has those memories.
One of the interesting things too, in talking with Bina, is she's also very involved in some of the nonprofits, and I know you do your calendar. Talk a little bit about that, and I know that's a passion of yours as far as supporting.
It is a huge passion. I definitely love support local pet rescues. Last year in 2020, I created it's called Rescued and Amazing. It's a line of products that support local pet rescues. The biggest is the calendar, obviously. How that works with the calendar, anyone can enter the dog. The only requirement, it has to be a rescue dog, since we are working with rescues. I have nothing against beautiful breeds that came from a breeder. It's just the nature of the calendar. We focus on the rescue dogs, and everybody can vote. So every vote is $1. So the dogs are kind of getting the votes with raising the money for the rescues. This year we were raising money for Douglas County Canine Rescue.
Okay.
We already are almost $5,000 at the contest. Yes, the contest was over to enter the calendar last month. I've already had first session for the calendar. So now till mid-September I will be photographing the dogs that will be going to the calendar. So that's one part. Another part, I'm opening a line of thank you cards, birthday cards that are featuring dogs that are in the rescue, and then partial proceeds from sales will go as well to support the local rescues. In August, I will have a fundraiser here in the studio for Golden Growls. It's a senior dog rescue. We'll do very silly, fun portraits of the dogs, and then the donation from the sessions will go directly to the Golden Growls. We're hoping to have a couple of vendors here, so it's gonna be a small event. And we're gonna have a dog communicator, so she's gonna come here and read as well. So I'm trying to get involved community a little bit more as well into the whole entire world of rescue.
Yeah.
My work, and all the wonderful people that I met through the rescue world.
Well, I know the rescue activity was a lot last year because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So but I know we've also heard that people are returning their animals.
It's becoming a problem, unfortunately, right now.
And so this is really cool that you're supporting, trying to help these people out, because I know some of them are kind of struggling with their budgets and stuff like that now. So
for sure, it's, and then you won't believe how much goes into saving a dog. Those are thousands of dollars. Yes, there are cases that they just pick it up and it's good, but there are cases that of the neglect that it's $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 to save that dog. Yes, they're safe, they're thriving later on, so the money has to come from somewhere for sure. And all the spaying and the vaccinations that already cost. People think, oh my God, it's so much money to adopt a dog from a rescue, but the amount that they put into those dogs is twice as much, 3 times as much sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Bina, tell us how do we get in touch with you? And then just so people know, I'll be following this up at the end of the video with all of Bina's contact information, her website, and everything else. But go ahead and share What's the best way to get in touch?
The best way I think is following me on Facebook. It's Bina Photography. Check my website as well. It's binaphotography.com. My studio is in Englewood, right across from Park Meadows Mall in the same area. So just text me, call me. You're more than welcome to come and tour the studio. Everything is per appointment because I want to make sure no one comes while I'm having a session, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, per appointment, you can always come and see us. Maybe you will be lucky to see Archer and Miss Vernie running around.
Exactly.
They're definitely my assistant. It's a manager and assistant of the
there
manager.
You go. Yeah. And I met them both this morning. So yeah, they're fun to be around. So yeah, that's great. Well, my name is Phil Gibson. I'm with the Unity Group at Keller Williams. This is the Unity Thread. The purpose of this is to connect you with community businesses and support those businesses like Bina's and all the stuff that she does, not only associated with pet photography, but beyond that, like as she mentioned in her nonprofit thing. So once again, thank you, and we look forward to your comments as they pertain to this video. Have a great day.
Thank you, guys.